Next, we come to the late classical period, and we're separating this because history has shifted as we're looking at the Greeks. So we're looking at this period from 404 to 323. Now, 404 is the end of the Peloponnesian Wars. 431 rolls around. I'm backing up a little bit. The Athenians are very optimistic, arguably very, very egotistical, as we've seen, and they decide, you know what, we should pick a fight with someone. We want a war. Who should we fight? Who should we fight? Who would be the absolute least likely enemy that you're going to pick? And they pick the Spartans. Predictably, this does not go well. We have the Peloponnesian War that lasts for nearly 30 years. The Athenians try and wall off their whole city to negate the Spartan army. The Spartans, for their part, basically defend themselves incredibly well from any kind of naval attack, which would be the Athenian strong suit. And we end up with 30 years of the Athenians sending people to Sicily, pretty much to die, going off and attacking Spartan colonies, Spartan sympathizers. This whole thing goes on for a very, very long time. So it's going to end with the defeat of the the defeat of the Athenians by the Spartans. And there will be other battles that break out a little bit later between the Athenians and the Spartans. It just happens. But this sort of fall resulting from this Peloponnesian War between 431 and 404. By the way, every war in the ancient world seems to start with a P. We've had the Persian War, we have the Peloponnesian War, we have the Punic Wars. When we get to Rome, it gets kind of ridiculous. But what we see coming out of this is a time of philosophy. It's a very interesting thing that we do as humans. When things start going wrong, we start trying to explore why. We start to explore personal strengths and weaknesses. In this case, exploring morals and ethics and other ideas. Not a big surprise. So growing enthusiasm for expressing an individual's emotion, character, age, mood, this is all going to play into the art as well. But it's from these times of difficulty that we tend to see certain characteristics come out. This desire to understand why our fellow man does what they do, why I do what I do, which is really wrapped up in philosophy. We also see the great playwrights all popping up during this period. Okay, Asclepius, I can't pronounce his name, I apologize, is a little bit earlier, but does play into this a little bit. What we get is Euripides and Sophocles, some of the great playwrights of Greek history coming out of this period, existing during the Peloponnesian War. Again, that exploration of the human condition being really, really important. Now, the whole thing starts this downward trend, and you would think this would be the end of the Greeks, but it's not, because in 338 BCE, we see Philip II of Macedon showing up and basically unifying the Greek people. He'll be assassinated in 336, either by Angelina Jolie or by his wrestling coach. That's a whole different story. But then his son, Alexander, comes in and takes power. And Alexander immediately recognizes that while his father has politically unified the Greek people, they aren't really one people. They don't have any common goal. So he does the one thing that politicians always do. He says, look over there, the Persians, they're our enemy. Let's attack. What he's just done is he created a common enemy for all the Greeks, thus unifying them not just politically, but unifying their goal, their pursuits. And this is incredibly powerful. This is why we are always looking at us versus the other in modern day. It's the same concept. But when Alexander comes in, he will also bring with him a new period of optimism. We just haven't gotten there yet. I'm sort of foreshadowing what's coming.